I was alarmed, by a conference a few years ago that Professor Stiglitz, he said, globalization is really overstated. We ought to be careful that the globalization. United States started all of this. And now it's United States trying to withdraw from a lot of international. So what happened?
Globalization helped China move hundreds of millions of people from poverty. I first visited China in 1980, fellowship in Hong Kong. I was only in China for a day, but it was a very strong picture in my memory because I visited a communal farm, I visited a city of low concrete blocks. Everybody wore blue and gray, unlike now. They were very poor. So I think globalization helped many countries improve their income and living standard.
Definitely.
And there were benefits for the U.S. too. So not only lower prices, after China came into the WTO, it was the fastest growing export market for the U.S. for 15 years. But then it's the question of if you have rapid change, whether due to trade or technology, how do you help people adapt? So in 1900, 40% of American workers were farmers.
Okay.
Today, 1% to 2%, but they're about 3 times more productive.
Okay.
So what happens to the farmers? Well, first they go to manufacturing. Eventually, as you said, China moved to low-end manufacturing. The U.S. actually remained quite a productive manufacturing power, but at the higher end.
Yeah.
With more productivity, wages are higher, but there are fewer workers. Then people move to the service sector. And so that transition is difficult for people. China is facing this today.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the point is you have to help people adapt to change. But going back to globalization, I don't see any other way in which you deal with the international economy or climate or pandemics and biological security unless you have some form of cooperation. So I was at the World Bank during the global financial crisis in 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
China and the U.S. had the biggest stimulus programs, and that was very important for the world economy. So what I'd say to Mr. Stiglitz or Professor Stiglitz and others is, when I encounter people in the developing world, they don't want to shut down globalization. They want to be able to trade. They want to be able to increase their income.
Yes.
So let me give you one other example that I find interesting. The working age labor force in sub-Saharan Africa is now, within a year or two, will be bigger than the working age labor force in all of developed countries. And within a couple more years, it'll be bigger than China's labor force. So are you going to help those people have better incomes, or are they going to migrate? And if they migrate, what happens to stability? So the challenge is we have national governments, but you still have a global order. My belief is more open trade, lower barriers, openness of ideas and people, that's a plus. My view of that is always that while you have differences, that we should try to manage those and try to find the ground of cooperation. But I'm in a minority today.
Oh, okay.